Hey guys, in this class I'm going to introduce you to the 3 pillars which will be the driving force throughout this whole course. These 3 will keep coming up time and time again, so I just want to go through what each one means individually, but how they can work as a collective and how they have worked for me in my rebuild and how they've driven me forward to be where I am today. And hopefully after this, and as we progress through the course, you'll start to see where these 3 pillars can impact you and you can start to use them in your everyday, wherever it is that you are and whatever is going on for you. You'll be able to choose one of these or pick 2 of them or use all 3, and you will start to feel a difference in just how you're presenting. So let's introduce the 3 pillars. We have mindfulness, movement, and mindset. You may already have an understanding of what these 3 mean to you individually. For the purpose of this course, how I look at these 3 pillars is that mindfulness and movement are very much something that we can do in the present. It is something that is accessible to us at any given point in the day, no matter how we are feeling. And mindset is something that we can work on, but mindset for me requires a bit more input and a bit more consistency, because the mindset is what drives us forward. Whereas the mindfulness and the movement is something that I can stop what I'm doing right now and I could take you through a mindfulness exercise. I could take you through a movement exercise. That is something that we could do together, or I could do by myself, you could do by yourself. Whereas the mindset, that's something that we need to work on. That's something that is something ongoing that we will develop throughout this course. So once you finish, you will feel like you have all of the tools. I'm going to give you absolutely everything that I use in my day-to-day. Everything that I've learned is coming into this course and you will have access to it, with the view that at any point in your life going forward, you will be able to stop, take stock, reset, and find direction to keep moving forward. Whilst you can tackle these individually and you can focus on 1 or 2, and some of the tasks and activities that we will be doing throughout the course are specific to mindfulness, or they might be specific to movement. But what I've found in my experience is that if you just focus on 1 and you forget about the other 2, or the other 2 just get pushed to the wayside, then you end up setting yourself up to fall. Because if you think about it from the perspective of, if you focus just on movement and you are super into the gym or you're running or whatever it is that you do for your movement, but you're not thinking about how you're feeling and you're not working on your mindset to improve or to make changes, this movement just becomes a slog and it becomes a habit, which is a healthy routine in theory, but as I found in my sort of 10 years of fitness, that it wasn't making me happy. I was going to the gym 5 or 6 times a week, and from the outside, maybe I had the physique or the strength that people would think, oh wow, okay, you're clearly doing really well on this pillar of movement. But my mindset was not great. I wasn't motivated. It was purely a habit and it was part of my routine. And a lot of people say, oh, the gym keeps me sane, and that's what I mean. Movement is so good for you, but if you don't tackle the other 2 as well, then it becomes a crutch, and ultimately what happens is we don't move forward. We just cause ourselves to stagnate, and that's why you end up feeling stuck, because you think, but I'm doing all of this activity and I'm really looking after myself, I'm physically fit and healthy, but I still struggle with my mindset. I still struggle with being present in the moment. So this is where the 3 start to interchange and they start to work together. And if you can start to bring a bit of a balance, you really will set yourself on a new path and you will start to feel the difference and the benefits. And some days you might be doing more mindfulness, some days you might be doing more movement. You may not ever get to a point where it's a third. It might just be that you will learn to understand what it is that you need at any given moment or any given day. And that's ultimately the goal here, because we're never going to eliminate the stresses of life. We're never going to be able to stop things from happening to us. We're never going to be able to predict every single outcome of what we choose. But what we can control is these three things. So when something does happen, whether that's at work, in relationships, or just in your day, maybe you don't sleep well and you wake up and you don't feel energized, or you feel particularly miserable. The more you start to work through this course and start to take some of these things on board, it will provide you the self-awareness and the understanding to actually sit and say, I need a bit more mindfulness today. I need movement today. And that's been a massive game changer for me as someone that was all in on one and maybe the mindset lacked behind. Now I feel really comfortable and confident to actually check in with myself, and when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling stressed, when I'm feeling stuck, what I tend to do now is just have that internal conversation and that internal check of, okay, which one do I need? And sometimes it's like having a baby or a dog. Sometimes you just have to go through the checklist. Okay, have they been fed? Have they had enough sleep? So it's the same with this, and you can do this at any given point. It might be 2 p.m. and you're feeling run down, you have that crash because you've not had your afternoon coffee. Rather than reaching for the coffee and rather than reaching for the cigarette, you can sit and go, have I moved today? Have I checked in with myself? What am I thinking? What's my current mindset? What am I building towards? And you can start to make drastic improvements with very small steps each day. It's not something that you need to be sat every minute of the day going through one of these checkpoints, but you can just start to build your own habits. And that is what I want this course to be. I want to give you all of the tools so you can go away and you can start to implement these into your life, and you can see the benefits that I saw when I started doing them. So just to recap, I'm going to go through all of these throughout the course. I'm going to give you everything that I use with mindfulness. I'm going to give you some simple movement drills, and we're going to be working a lot on mindset. None of these are more important. They are all important in their own way. And if you can nail all three, then you'll really start to see a difference in your everyday. Before we move on to the next class, just take a moment to reflect on these three and how that shows up in your life. So start to think about, maybe grab a journal and just start to think about which areas in your life need strengthening. What areas do you ignore? So perhaps you are doing a lot of movement, but you don't feel very present. So you can start to think about which area needs a bit more work, and that will help you as you start to move through this course, because it will start to develop that awareness. So that's been your introduction to the 3 pillars. Thank you for committing to the class, and I will see you on the next class.